In a quiet village, nestled among rolling hills, lived an old man and his son. The father had spent his entire life working tirelessly, pouring all his love, kindness, and every comfort he could afford into raising his boy. He sacrificed his own food so his son could eat well, lost sleep to soothe him, and ignored his own health to ensure his son had a good life. But as the years passed, the father grew old and frail, and a chilling change came over the son. The boy he had raised with such tenderness grew into a man who forgot the gentle hands that once held him and the selfless heart that had nurtured him. He became selfish, cold, and saw his aging father as nothing more than a burden. One evening, the son, tired of what he called the chore of caring for his father, spoke words that were as cold as the winter wind. "Father," he said, his voice devoid of warmth, "I think it's best if you move to the old hut by the fields. You'll be more comfortable there." The hut was anything but comfortable. It was a dilapidated shack, with a leaky roof and broken walls that offered little protection from the elements. It was a place of isolation, a place of loneliness. The old father, his heart heavy with unspoken grief and his eyes shimmering with tears, didn't argue. He simply nodded and quietly agreed. Days turned into weeks. The son's own child, a bright little boy of 5, had watched everything. He saw his grandfather, his back bent with age and sorrow, slowly walking away from the home he had built. A few weeks later, the son noticed his little boy gathering scraps of wood and old planks in the yard. Puzzled, he walked over and asked, "What are you doing with all that wood, my child?" The boy looked up at him, his expression serious and innocent. "I'm building a hut for you, Father," he replied matter-of-factly. "For when you grow old, it will be just like the one you built for Grandpa." The son froze. Each word from his child's mouth struck him like a physical blow. His heart, once so hard, shattered in an instant. He saw his own cruelty reflected in the innocent eyes of his son. He realized with dawning horror that he wasn't just being selfish. He was teaching his own child to be heartless. That very night, consumed by a guilt that gnawed at his soul, he ran to the old hut. The wind howled around him, a mournful sound that echoed the emptiness he felt inside. He burst through the rickety door and fell to his knees before his father, who lay shivering on a thin mat. "Father, forgive me," he sobbed, his tears watering the dusty floor. "Please, forgive me." The old man, weak but with a familiar warmth returning to his eyes, reached out a trembling hand and placed it on his son's head. He smiled a faint, forgiving smile. "My son," he whispered, his voice raspy, "always remember this. Whatever we give to others in this life, whether it is love or pain, it always finds a way to return to us." From that day forward, everything changed. The son brought his father back home and cared for him with a love and devotion he had shown in years. He bathed him, fed him, and sat with him for hours, listening to the old stories he had once dismissed. When the father eventually passed away peacefully in his own bed, surrounded by love, the son finally, truly understood. Gratitude is the seed from which love grows, and karma is the unflinching mirror of our actions. Respect your parents, care for them in their old age. For one day, your children will learn how to treat you by watching how you treat them. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that matters.